Hello, fifth graders, and welcome to our computer class. In today's world, displaying information in the form of infographic is a common practice. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, an infographic or information graphic is a visual representation of information or data. But the meaning of an infographic is something much more specific. An infographic is a collection of imagery, charts, and minimal text that gives an easy to understand overview of a topic. For today's lesson is I can create infographics in Google Drawings. I want you to think for a moment about what we discussed about last class. We were talking about where we can find infographics and we come up with different examples. Like we can see infographics in books, we can see infographics at school, like all around the walls around your school has some infographics. You can also find infographics in the bathrooms or even in hospitals or restaurants. So we see them quite often and they are really easy to do. Before we continue, you can pause the video here and I want you to open the document that we were working with on the last um, session at school, in class, sorry. So if you submit your work, you need to unsubmit it so you can continue editing it. Okay, so let's get to work. Okay, so I have the document open. I just delete everything that I had. So I will go back a little bit and explain from the beginning what we're going to be doing, right? Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is change the page setup. So for that, we're going to be clicking where it says File, and then all the way down where it says Page Setup. And where it says Standard, I'm going to be clicking where it says Custom. And in here, I'm going to be changing the size of my paper. It's going to be 8.5 by 14 inches. In Spanish, it will say pulgadas, okay? After that, I'm just going to click on Apply and you are going to be able to see that I have this now vertical page instead of the other rectangle. Okay, so the next part that we are going to be doing, and as you remember in Google Drawings, we need to work from the background to the very front part of our document, which is easier. So we are going to be adding the background. For this, I need to add a shape or a picture because you cannot give color to the document otherwise. So one example is just using a rectangle. Just click on the right corner and just click and drag. Then you can modify the color to whatever color you like. The other option is using a picture. Okay, for this picture, just going to say insert and search the web. And we're going to be looking for a forest. Okay, so I already searched one, so I like this one. And you are going to be able to see my picture is not that big. So I need to make it bigger first. And then you need to choose some part that is interesting to have as a background. For this example, I'm going to be using the right side of my picture. If I do this, what is going to happen is like my picture is going to get like squished and it's not going to look good. Instead of doing that, I'm going to be using the cropping tool, which is this tool that I'm showing you here. I just need to select first the picture and then click on crop. And you're going to be able to see these black lines that you can have there. So I'm just going to be clicking from the left side. So I'm just resizing my picture. And when I'm done, I'm just going to click again and I already crop it or just cut a part of the picture. I'm going to be leaving both examples here right by side. You just have to pick one, whatever you feel more comfortable or you like the better. um, that's okay. I have this sign over here. It says make sure your objects have contrast. What do I mean? Like, for example, you can see like a really bright color on the left side and just grayish color on the right side of my document. It's just going to be the same example, but I'm going to explain a little bit about contrast. If you remember when we were presenting our All About Me presentations, some of your backgrounds did not allow the text to be read. So we need to have that, we need to keep in mind that we want to present information to people and we need to be, the people needs to be able to read what we are printing. So if you're using a black background, avoid using really dark colors such as dark blue or red because then you're not going to be able to see it easily. Okay, like for example, this object over here, it has enough contrast. It has a white, sorry, yellow background, and my text is black. Or I can do it other way around: black background and yellow letters, and it's going to be as contrast as this. I'm going to be showing you an example. I'm going to be adding the title. For the title, I'm going to be using a text box. So I'm just going to be clicking here, more likely. Going to be switching my fonts. Going to make them really big. And this is a white. Okay, so in here I'm just going to be writing my title. Wolf. I don't want that one. Okay, that one. Let's make them bigger. Okay, so this is going to be my title for my document. So on the left side on the screen right now, you're going to be able to read it without any problem. So I have like a darkish color and I have white letters, so you're going to be able to see that. But if I just copy and paste it and go to the right side, you are not going to be able to read wolves that easily. You can still see it, but it takes more um, effort for all of your eyes to be able to read the text. Okay, you can do multiple things here. Like if I wanted to keep using backgrounds such as these pictures, and then I cannot find a color, like maybe if I do red, no, not that one, sorry, the other one. This one, if I do it red, maybe you will be able to see it, but you still have some issues like having like over here with the V and the E. You're not going to be able to read it that well, right? So what we can do is just try to look for some colors behind. I don't know. See what I mean about having enough contrast? Even if you pick something like that, it's a really a bright color, but with the grayish background, you don't see them. You don't see it quite well. So what we can do, like for this example, we can just click here where it says more, and it's just more format options. If you cannot see it here in format, you can see on the format menu. If we go down, we have format options. And in format options, we can just click here where it says a drop shadow, and you will be able to see a small difference over here. Let me just make it so you can see the difference. You can see if I'm moving this, you're going to be able to see what's going on. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that's like a drop shadow where you can just make it less blur, change the angle of it, like how do you want to do it. So maybe this is a good way that you can just check. You can make it more transparent, or you can make them as um, dark as you want to. So now I'm able to read wolf and I'm still using the white. Okay, so that's one way that you can have contrast with text without using um, another shape below it. Okay, so the next part, by the way, you should have this page open, is the a2zanimals.com. It's attached in the classroom. I'm going to be attaching it as well. So I'm going to be adding some information that you can find here, which is like what I think is the most important information that everybody should know, right? So the first part is the scientific classification. So I'm going to be copying and pasting this part. And before I do that, I'm going to be adding a shape. You can add pretty much any kind of shape that you want. Just try to avoid using these smiley shapes or these kind of shapes. So because infographics are more like a formal work, and even if you use a smiley face or the no symbol, you cannot add information inside of it, right? So I'm going to be creating the flow chart because that's an interesting shape. So I'm going to be doing it twice so you can see the difference with the background and with the picture here. But I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing, okay? Let me zoom it so you can see it better. So I have my shape here. I will change the colors later. I don't like lines, so that's why I'm taking them off. So inside the shape, I'm going to be adding a text box. I'm going to be pasting the information that I look for. In this case, I'm just going to be doing this one, I think, and maybe a 12 size. Okay, make sure that my text is in the middle of the text box. Okay, so I have that part. Can just click and I can move it a little bit. And I'm going to be adding a picture here. So for that, I'm going to be searching the web. And in here, I'm just going to be looking for a wolf with a transparent background. Okay. And I'm going to be using this picture of the white wolf. It's a big picture, so I'm just going to be dragging it and making it smaller. And I'm going to put it here. So we can have like an interesting composition over here. Just make sure that your picture is aligned with the text. And obviously I need the title, so I'm just going to be adding here, which is the classification. I'm going to be using the same font that I use for the title of wolves. Going to make it a little bigger. Maybe, no, not 18. I'm going to go with the 36, yes. And my title is going to be white as well. I can just make it, I can just land it a little bit. So that way it's interesting. If you cannot find it or you cannot just not have like, I don't want to be dealing with this, remember in the format options, I can always rotate it a little bit. So in here where it says angle, I can just move it so I can rotate it. So I have my classification as well, and I have my wolf with my title. So I'm just going to be fitting as well. I'm going to be copying everything so you can see the difference between both things. Oh, I did not copy the wolf. There we go. Moving the back. So as you can see, it's just exactly the same thing that I'm doing, just switching colors and um, backgrounds. Nope, and maybe this one a little bit down. Nope, not that one. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of difficult to work with text boxes, but that's it. Okay, and maybe for this one, I'm going to be doing it different, I'm going to be adding the white, but my background, my box, cannot click on it. I need to zoom it so I can click on it. Okay, so this one, my box is going to be, I don't know, maybe black, and you're going to be able to see that it looks interesting. Mm, I don't like it black, so maybe I'm just going to go for red. Yeah, red can work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, so after this part, I'm just going to be keeping on adding text boxes, pictures, and information. So again, I'm going to be adding first another shape. For this case, I'm going to be adding the same shape, but in this case, I'm going to rotate it. So again, format options, and where it says rotate, here where it says saves and rotations, I'm just going to flip it. Okay, so now my um, shape goes down, and in this shape, I'm going to be adding the location. Where can we find it? Okay, so I'm going to fit it. I'm going to make it a smaller, just way too big. We don't want that. Okay, so another text box, and I will paste information. Okay, maybe I will do two text boxes with this one. Okay, okay, so I'm just going to make two text boxes. I'm just going to erase that part. Okay, and I'm going to be adding another text box over here. Okay, switching the font. Okay, so we have now our two text boxes. So this is another way so you can experiment with the information. So maybe not that big. I'm going to make it smaller. And for this, you just have to trust your instincts when you do this. I'm just going to copy the title. I'm going to write here, but in this case, I'm going to be writing location. Remember that you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You're able to do what you feel comfortable doing. Um, just make sure it looks good. Okay, so I'm going to be moving this up. So once I have it, just going to move it up. Then maybe we can add a little tiny map over there. Yeah, I'm going to be adding another picture. For this, I'm just going to say like a map, a world map. Yeah, world map. And let's say which one looks good. Mm, yeah, I'm just might just choose one of these ones. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, that looks good. So I think I just add it on the center. It's up to you what pictures you add, what information you add. Just going to try to make it interesting for well, in this case, children. So they want to read and learn about wolves. That's the point of infographics, that people want to grab it and want to read what it says. And you just don't have to, you know, deal with reading 10,000 pages and find information about wolves. So I'm just going to be uh, moving this part over here. Let's say maybe that can work. I think this can work. Again, transparent. Okay, so let's see how it looks. Yeah. Then copy pasting it. I'm going to paste it on the other side. Another thing that is important, like you don't have to like use big text boxes. If you notice my um, information is really small, my text is really, really, really small. So you don't have to use huge text boxes because we're still adding information. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here so you get an idea what we are doing. I'm just going to finish it and I will be right back. Okay, I'm mostly finished by now. As you can see, I'm using exactly the same colors, exactly the same shapes in both examples. I added here some drop shapes. Remember, it's in the format options here where it says drop shadow. And I just need to add the finishing touches. Um, Also, before I forget, you need to copy the sources. Where are you finding the information? Thankfully, we have a different sources here, so we're just going to copy this part. And for this part, you have to like write really, 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 really small. You need to still be able to read the information, but it doesn't have to be that big. So maybe we can just add like a number 8 and maybe some white color. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. So as long as you are listing the sources of the information, that will be okay. So I'm just going to put it on the right part here of my document, and I'm going to copy paste not that part, this one. I'm going to copy paste it here. So this is not like really, it needs to be there, but it doesn't have to be like that big. Okay, so you can see here, over here. Okay, so like I have the most information, but I still have spaces. Like for example, I have a space here, I have a space here. I don't see them as much on the right side because of my background. I'm just going to be reading part of this text that I have here, and I'm just going to say what is the most important information of that text and maybe just add some um, interesting things or facts on these blank spaces that I have. Like for example, I can see that the wolf is the ancestor of the domestic dog. So I'm just going to be adding that part here. Maybe I'm just going to be adding some effects to it. Let's see what effects we can find. No, I don't want it to be that. Yeah, we can just angle it a little bit and let's see how we can find it here. So we just need like keywords that we can going to be adding information that I think that is important for my audience to have. Going to be adding it as that one. Maybe I'm just going to go like that. Let's see how it looks over there. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm just going to be making it white. Maybe. We'll see. If I don't like it, I can always change it. That's the good thing about working with this document. And I rather use drawings as I work with posters like this because you can easily move things around. We could have done this in Google Slides or Google Documents, but it's more difficult to manage with that. So I'm going to be adding another picture, but I'm not going to add a transparent background. So I'm just going to be looking for a wolf picture. Let's say I want, which picture will be okay? Maybe I want this picture. I'm going to be inserting it. Let's see how big it is. Okay, yeah, quite big. So I'm going to be moving it here and I'm going to make it smaller. Remember that I said that we can crop. We can also crop it in shape. So in this one, I'm going to be cropping in a shape. So for that, it depends on the shape that you want to crop is what you need. This one, I'm going to be cropping it. Maybe like this one. And then I can crop it again so I can make it smaller. And just check what I need. No, like that one. Yeah, and I can just crop it. Let's see if it looks good. If I don't like the shape, we can always crop it again and switch it. Yeah, I don't like that shape. Doesn't look good. So let's see which shape we can use. A circle? Maybe a circle? No, well, that's not a circle. Remember that if you want circles, let me show you what we are doing. The first we need to make a square. No, that one. The first we will need to make a square. And after you have the square, we can crop it in a shape. So I think I have it. Yeah. Now you can crop it in a circle. So that looks much, much better. Okay. I said, well, just now we just need to fill out those white spaces that you have, and it still looks good. Okay, you see the difference? As I mean, we need to have contrast. Okay, what other information that we can add? Let's see really quickly. Mm, 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 mm. We can say this information, it looks interesting. Let's guess we're going to be adding another text box. Is the wild shepherd of the caribou. Again, I'm just going to make it bigger. A little bit bigger. Oh, not that big. 24 will be okay. Again, just make it white. This I'm just going to be adding random information that you can add here about wolves. So right now you're teaching other people about your animals. What else will be okay? Let's see. Pausing the video again. And I'm about to be finished. So I'm going to be adding another picture of a wolf. Let's see what we can find. going to might add this picture. It might look good. But for that, I'm going to be using, like really, I'm going to make it smaller and then I'm going to be cropping it. Let's see how it looks at the end. No, I move this one part to the front. Bring to the front. You can always do that as well. Oop. So yeah, that will look better. So I'm just going to delete it so I can just copy paste this part. Copy paste. Mm, yeah, about here. There will, and also the most important thing is just have to write by your name. Okay, remember as well, it doesn't have to be like that big, just big enough so you can see it and find it. Okay, just going to copy, paste it here. Need to move it. And I think we are finished. Just going to delete this part. You don't need what. So you can see both examples. One has a really just one color background, the other has a picture. I think the picture one looks much better, but it's up to you what kind of infographic you want to create. Okay, I hope you can do some amazing works. I'm pretty sure you are going to be able to do so. And once you finish, just click on turn in assignment again. And if you cannot turn it in, just make sure that you can send it through email, okay? And I will see you later in class. Have a good day.